By 1944, the German Wehrmacht possessed some of the most terrifying armored fighting vehicles ever created. Tanks like the Panther and the legendary Tiger Elite were moving fortresses, protected by massive sloped armor and armed with devastating high-velocity guns that could slice through Allied armor from miles away. German automotive engineering was widely considered the absolute pinnacle of technological advancement. The German High Command believed that their superiority in engineering would easily offset the massive industrial output of their enemies. But behind the terrifying facade of the Panzer divisions lay a catastrophic hidden crisis. German tanks were hyper-complex, incredibly delicate, and notoriously unreliable. Their engines and transmissions were pushed to the absolute limit of physics, requiring constant mechanical adjustments, highly specialized tools, and a massive army of expertly trained mechanics just to keep them running on the battlefield. When the Western Allies invaded Europe, German mechanics frequently captured intact American M4 Sherman tanks, operating under the assumption that American equipment was cheap, crude, and poorly made. The German engineers opened up the Sherman's rear and engine decks, expecting to laugh at an amateur design. Instead, they walked right into a profound engineering culture shock. What they found inside the American engine bays did not look like anything in the German design manuals. It was a revelation in mass production that completely baffled the German mechanical mind and exposed the fatal flaw in the entire Nazi war effort. The first thing that completely confused German mechanics when they inspected early model Shermans was the shape and configuration of the power plant. Instead of a traditional, water-cooled automotive engine block, the Americans had stuffed a massive 9-cylinder radial aircraft engine into the back of a 30-ton tank. This was the Wright R975 Whirlwind, an air-cooled engine originally designed to power civilian and military airplanes. To fit this massive circular engine into a rectangular tank hull, American engineers had to mount it at a sharp angle, connecting it to a long drive shaft that ran directly between the feet of the crew to the front transmission. To a German engineer raised on the rigid principles of traditional automotive design, this layout looked completely insane. It seemed wildly impractical, overly loud, and entirely unsuited for land warfare. But as the German mechanics began to tear the radial engine apart, their skepticism turned into absolute disbelief. Because it was an aircraft engine, it was built to a standard of reliability that standard tank engines could only dream of. And airplanes cannot simply pull over to the side of the road when their engine coughs. The radial power plant was designed to run at high power for hundreds of hours, continuously, without a single mechanical failure. Furthermore, because it was air-cooled, it completely eliminated the need for complex radiators, water pumps, hoses, and fragile coolant lines, things that constantly fractured on German tanks when they hit rough terrain or took nearby artillery blasts. The Americans had bypassed the traditional problems of tank maintenance by adapting a proven unyielding aviation design. As the war progressed, the Americans introduced newer variants of the Sherman, most notably the M4A3. When German mechanics captured these models and popped the engine hoods, they found an entirely different power plant that shocked them even more: the legendary Ford GAA V8. The Ford GAA was an absolute masterpiece of industrial minimalism. It was a massive 18-liter aluminum block engine that had also been originally intended for aircraft use before being adapted for the Sherman tank. German tank engines like the Maybach HL230 used in the Tiger and Panther were incredibly delicate. They used complex system arrays, intricate chain drives, and thousands of tiny, highly synchronized moving parts. If a German mechanic wanted to adjust the timing or fix a valve on a Maybach engine, they needed hours of uninterrupted time, a pristine workshop environment, and a specialized kit of custom tools. The Ford GAA V8 completely rejected this philosophy. It utilized dual overhead camshafts, a remarkably clean modular layout, and an absolute minimum of moving parts. German mechanics noted with absolute amazement that the entire engine block looked incredibly sparse. There were no complex wire tangles, no delicate custom fittings, and everything was easily accessible. An American crew with basic training and a standard set of commercial wrenches could completely service the Ford engine right in the middle of a muddy field. It was an engine designed explicitly to be abused by 19-year-old conscripts who had grown up fixing farm tractors in the American Midwest. The true epiphany for the German mechanics came when they realized how the Americans approached the concept of component replacement. If a German Tiger tank suffered a catastrophic transmission or engine failure on the front line, it was a logistical disaster. Because the German vehicles were so heavy and their components were so tightly integrated into the hull, fixing a major mechanical issue required sending the tank back to a specialized rear area depot. Mechanics had to literally use a massive portal crane to lift the entire heavy armored turret off the tank chassis just to access the transmission components underneath. The Sherman tank looked at this problem and offered a brilliantly simple solution: modularity. German engineers discovered that the Sherman's front transmission housing was bolted directly to the outside of the hull nose. If the transmission broke, mechanics did not need to remove the turret or tear the inside of the tank apart. They simply unbolted the front nose piece, slid the entire broken transmission out as a single self-contained unit, and slid a brand new one in. The entire process could be completed in a fraction of the time it took to service a Panther tank. The Americans did not look at a tank as a unique, handcrafted piece of military art. They looked at it as a consumer appliance. If a part broke, you did not spend days repairing it, you threw it away and bolted on a mass-produced replacement that was identical down to the millimeter. This fundamental difference in engine philosophy completely dictated the strategic outcome of the war in Western Europe. German generals were constantly frustrated by the fact that their superior tanks were missing from the front lines because they were perpetually stuck in repair bays, waiting for custom-manufactured spare parts. At any given time, a terrifyingly high percentage of Germany's Tiger and Panther tanks were completely non-operational due to simple mechanical breakdowns, clogged fuel filters, or stripped gears. The Sherman, by contrast, was an absolute logistical juggernaut because their engines were derived from mass production lines run by companies like Ford, General Motors, and Chrysler. Spare parts arrived at the front lines by the literal shipload. If a Sherman engine was completely destroyed, an American maintenance crew could execute a complete engine swap right inside a ruined barn in under 4 hours. German mechanics who evaluated the Sherman admitted in their confidential reports that while the American vehicle was inferior in individual armor thickness and gun power, its mechanical reliability made it a far more dangerous weapon at a strategic level. A tank with a perfect gun is completely useless if its complex engine catches fire before it even reaches the battlefield. The astonishment of the German mechanics who inspected the Sherman engine reveals the great historical lesson of World War II. The conflict was not won by the nation that designed the most complex, technologically advanced weapon. It was won by the nation that designed a highly effective weapon that could be mass-produced by the tens of thousands and maintained with absolute ease in the worst conditions imaginable. The German military elite looked down on the Sherman as a crude, basic vehicle, but the mechanics, who actually had to turn the wrenches, understood the terrifying truth. The simplicity of the Sherman's engine was not a sign of weakness, it was the ultimate expression of industrial strength. The Americans did not build a tank to win an engineering beauty contest. They built a tank engine that was too simple to fail, too reliable to break, and ultimately completely unstoppable in its march toward Berlin.